Hey everybody, Charlie Brown here. A few of my videos, the leading up to this one, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, have been me kind of talking about the crazy stuff that goes on with domestic violence and trying to add some humor to it. And I've tried to add humor to it because of how outrageous domestic violence is. Every day a woman is beaten, children are beaten. Domestic violence isn't a joke. Sometimes you have to find some humor in the most extreme situations, or else you can lose your mind. The fact is, women are killed every day. Not just women, men are too. Men get abused. And it's harder for them to even talk about it because it's even more shameful. Now, domestic violence knows no economic boundaries. Domestic violence knows no race boundaries, no age boundaries. There's nothing that discriminates against domestic violence. I was married to a man and we were very poor. Part of the reason we were poor is because of his drinking and his domestic violence. He shot at me, he drowned me, he raped me, he beat me. And I was also with a very, very wealthy man, a multimillionaire, a world famous neurosurgeon who, at a drop of a hat, could buy me a Mercedes. He actually scared me more than my husband did. Domestic violence is such a quiet crime. I mean, how many times have you been in the grocery store and seen a woman with a black eye? You've wanted to reach out and touch her and tell her there's help, but you don't. How many times have you heard the neighbor next door crying and screaming, but you do nothing? It has to be stopped. It has to be stopped. Batterers have many typical characteristics. Jealousy. They claim that, they've never cared about anyone as much as they've cared about you. You're the first person that's ever loved them like you do. They've never felt love like you're loved before. They use threats and coercion. They'll kill you. They'll kill your kids. They'll kill your family if you report them. They're control freaks. They have to control your every movement. They want to know where you're at every moment of the day. They want to know exactly what you've done every moment of the day. They use intimidation, throwing things, punching things, until you know the violence can escalate to harm. Humiliate you in front of friends and family and strangers. Financially control you. My husband, even though we had been very poor, used to hide my car keys. He would take them so I couldn't leave. The neurosurgeon, Dr. Andy Freeze, he would kick my kids and I out of our house several times a week. If he wasn't kicking us out of the house, he would tell me he would shut off all the utilities. I had no money because of isolation. I was starting a new business. I had to deal with it. People think one of the myths of domestic violence is that people think women, oh, they like it. They want to get hit. We don't. Nobody wants to get hit. Nobody wants to be hurt. They want to feel a tender touch. Maybe they've never felt a tender touch before and they don't know any different. but it doesn't mean that that's what they want. I'd like to change things for people, and I've been willing to open up my story so other women out there know that there are options. My kids don't even know their own father because of how violent the crime was. We were granted most restraining orders are anywhere between 3 months and then a maximum for 2 years. We were granted a 5-year restraining order. That's how violent the crimes were. When I met Dr. Andy, I hadn't been with anybody in a while. I was just coming, out of my shell. He wooed me, and I opened up to him about what had happened. And he used that against me. Batterers seek out vulnerable women. They do. He had told me how he had been with, a wife that was cold, and he had had 28 girlfriends that were mean and bitches and everything else. And I started to open up to him and tell him, some things that had happened to me. And when I would shut down, he would, no, 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 tell me more, tell me more. At one point, he actually demanded that I showed him all the police reports for my ex-husband. Like, I don't want to talk about this. I told you I'm scared. I told you, I need to be treated gently. And now you're forcing me to have to show you my police reports. Batterers like to find women that have been abused before. They prey on them. It's an easy victim. They know that they can go after them. They know how to do it. If you are in a battering situation, or you're starting off a relationship with someone new, and you see red flags going, get out. I'm going to slowly tell my story. And as I tell my story, you'll realize that if I could get out, that you can too. I'm going to end this little segment right now. I'm going to come back and we'll start my story. It's a painful one for me to tell, but I'm hoping that maybe just if I tell it, it'll help someone else out. No one deserves to be hurt. No one. No one deserves to be physically abused, emotionally abused, financially abused, battered, tormented, anything. And I want to make a difference. I have to make a difference. If I don't make a difference with what I've gone through, I might as well just give up. I have to make the negative into a positive. I have to. If I don't, my mind can't handle it, and neither can my heart. It's, I have to. It's my strength. So in the next few segments, I welcome you into my heart, my home, my life. Please treat me kindly as I will do you, and I will help. Thank you. Peace out, Charlie Gray.